We are back here for another weekend of your LosLamitos.com preview show, previewing the weekend action here from Los Lamitos. I'm your host, Jose Contreras, alongside the voice of Los Lamitos, Michael. Welcome back to the program, Michael. How are you doing on this Thursday afternoon?
Terrific. How are you, Jose?
Doing well. And this weekend we'll have the series of the PCQHRA Derby and Futurity Trials, which means the Los Lamitos Equine Sale is fast approaching because both of those two finals coincide with the weekend of the Los Lamitos Equine Sale here on site. So it should be fun to kind of look over these trials, the Derby trials on Saturday, and then the Futurity trials on Sunday night. Recapping last week, how cool was it to see Cattail Cove, that old pro, earn another stakes win?
And it might have been one of his best ever performances.
Yes,
he
I
was
agree.
super sharp in winning by a clear margin. Really dominant display by the 6-year-old. And he's just firing on all cylinders, isn't he? What a popular horse. And great to see him victorious on Sunday in another stakes race.
Yeah, he broke about as good as he's ever done, and he finished about as strong as he's ever done. So it was a complete dominating win. Congrats to the connections and Cattail Cove back in the winner's circle last week at Los Lamitos. Tip of the cap to you. New Park got the job done. Your selection from last week.
Yes, that was a race around the turn, a 1,000-yard race, and he ended up winning easily. He was 3 wide all the way around the turn, which I was not anticipating, but fortunately, neither of the horses inside him lugged, as was the case in his previous start when he got carried very wide. And he was able to get around the turn in the 3-path and just kick away and win very nicely.
All right, let's talk about this weekend. We'll have 10 races on Saturday. The last 4, the late pick 4 will be the PCQHRA Breeders Derby, the 3-year-old trials. You're taking us to race number 8 here in this event.
Yes, which is the second of the 4 trials. And my pick actually broke her maiden, in fact, when winning a trial to the PCQHRA Breeders Futurity on this corresponding weekend last year. I refer to number 1, Escalated. And so her other career victory was in her 3-year-old debut on June 10. That was an allowance score in fast time from the rail, and that's the replay we have to show you because she's come up with the rail again on Saturday night, but I'm hoping that she'll be able to cope with it. And based on this replay, there's reason to think she will.
And I remember this replay vividly because I tried to beat her off the layoff. I said, I'm not buying her off the layoff, Michael. She was super, super impressive from the rail this night.
She certainly was. She ended up winning by a clear margin, despite drifting out a little bit in the second half of the race. But good acceleration here coming past the gap. She just surged forward and had the race won a long way from home. Look at her kick away.
Yeah, it was a confident hand ride too here, even though she kind of floated out a bit. She looked strong. She looked like the winner every step of the way. Final eighth was a pretty solid 9.63, and she looked every bit of a fresh 3-year-old in that race. Now, she's come back twice since that, and she just hasn't gotten the trips or the clean starts in those consequent starts after that win.
Yeah, she qualified to the Governor's Cup Derby and was one of the top fancies for the final, being sent off at 9-2 in her latest start at the end of July. But she began very slowly. She threw away her chance on that occasion. She's had 6 weeks off, which I know is not a really long layoff, but perhaps we could call it a freshening. And she seems to fire her best shot when fresh. She lost her career debut by a nose, and both of her career wins have come when fresh. I mentioned the win in the PCQHRA Breeders Futurity trial on this same weekend last year. That came off a few months off, and then the other one was off a longer layoff for her 3-year-old debut, the replay we just showed you. So I think that Escalated fits very well here in this spot, despite the field obviously having considerable depth. All of these trials, Jose, look like really good wagering events. There's some open morning lines. Certainly you have to respect He's Chickless, whom Ed Burgard has made the morning line favourite, and he breaks from right alongside Escalated. He was involved in all sorts of scrimmaging and problems at the start last time out, but we know how good he is usually from the gate and how many wins he's been able to rack up. Disruptor's been working very well for Elena Andrade, comes off a 3-month layoff and is looking sharp in the mornings. And of course, a good old mate of ours, Pragmatic, whom I did pick for the preview show when he won last time out, and he's drawn wide and no doubt will be finishing strongly. So there are plenty of chances in the race. I just think that Escalated can fire a big shot off a 6-week freshening from the fence. Now, I will admit there could be, Jose, just possibly a slight element of bias. I hope I'm being objective in my analysis, but I did have the pleasure just yesterday, as we record this on a Thursday afternoon, of visiting Burns Ranch in Menifee. And it was a real treat. It was shown great hospitality by Dr. Steve Burns and his wife, Jo. Got to see so many famous horses, their whole band of sires. And one of their top broodmares is Babe on the Fly, the mother of Escalated. She's also the dam of Turbo, who contests another trial on Saturday night. So I'm going here to Burns Ranch and to Babe on the Fly's offspring Escalated, but objectively, I think that there's a good case that you can be made for her at 5-1.
I like it. I like that that recency bias. I'll call it that, as you just visited. Dr. Steve Burns there, Burns Ranch out of Menifee. I haven't visited yet. I'll have to make a stop and make it a visit of me for me out there.
Oh, it's well worth it. I got to see Remember Me Rose.
Yes.
And some of her babies, the whole stallion roster, including, of course, Favorite Cartel. And he's the sire, by the way, of Escalated. Babe on the Fly, another great broodmare. Had some photos taken with some horses that I've called at Los Alamitos, more recent additions to the stallion ranks, Golden Boy and Mental Error. For Separate Interest and Foos, and it was just a terrific visit with them.
You were amongst some quarter horse royalty out there. Well done, my friend.
Very much so. Yes. Yeah. It's just an all-star cast at Burns Ranch.
So I assume since you made it out there, you might have had to make a pit stop somewhere else. I think Kathy might have said, you know what? Why don't we make a pit stop and make a trip out of it? So I see that you're traveling. So well done.
Yes, mate. And I'll tell you how much I enjoy talking to you, Jose, because I dragged myself out of the lazy river at the Harrah's Resort, Southern California, just to record this segment with you. Of course, we always have the blinds and curtains closed because of backlighting, but as we sign off, let me just give you a glimpse of, I know you're very familiar with this place. Can you see the lazy river down there?
I can see the lazy river. You got a good view. That's the Harris SoCal lazy river out there.
Indeed, that was me a short time ago, but I've come back upstairs to fulfill my professional duty, and it's always a pleasure chatting with you, mate.
Always a pleasure. Hopefully after this segment, you go down to Rita's Cantina, enjoy a margaritas, maybe some tacos as well.
Every chance.
All right, have a good rest of your Thursday, and let's see if Escalated can break sharply from the row come Saturday night.
Hope so. Hooroo.
Burns Ranch is proud to welcome two-time AQHA champion Golden Boy. He joins multiple stakes winner MP Shining, whose first crop are yearling, and California champion Mental Error, with foals arriving this year. Proven stallions include Separate Interest, off to a good start in 23.
Delight Interest trying to fend him off. Delight Interest comes through in the clutch.
And Fly Through the Fire, a top 3 ranked second crop sire. Let Burns Ranch put you in the game.
Los Alamitos celebrates its 10th year of daytime thoroughbred racing this September with an action-packed meet in beautiful Orange County. Opening day is Friday, September 15th. It's been an honor for us to have racing's biggest stars competing here over the past years. From the great 2-time Horse of the Year, California Chrome, to 7 other outstanding Eclipse Award winners, plus many other great stars. Our summer meet will include the E.B. Johnston Stakes on opening weekend, plus the Dark Mirage and our on-track handicapping contest on Saturday, September 23rd. It's our 10th year of daytime thoroughbred racing at Los Alamitos Racecourse.
Welcome back. Now joined by Christopher Wade, your Los Alamitos on-track analyst, each and every night from your simulcast signal there. And Chris, I feel like this weekend of trials for the PCQHRA Derby and Futurity, and then also the upcoming daytime Derby season, I feel like this officially kicks off our fall season on the nighttime signal, because I feel like every weekend from here on out, we're going to have something important leading up all the way into the Champion of Champions.
Yes, starting this, like you said, this week, all of our every race, every weekend, we're going to have top-notch quality runners as per usual. But there's going to be some very important races, unless we get the PCQHRA Breeders Derby and trials and future trials.
Yep. So it's going to be fun. I feel like every weekend from here on out, it's just we're chugging along. We're kind of building up to the big weekend that includes the Champion of Champions and the Los Al 2 Million Futurity. Let's talk about first of all. Your selection from last week, don't give up on him. Favorite Runaway, much trouble from the road, galloped out like he was a good one. So again, a horse to watch. Favorite Runaway had trouble last week.
Yeah, it's one of those horses you got to keep giving them one more chance so they finally get it done. We had one of those last Sunday. We gave the horse one more chance. We talked about it earlier. Understandable, who upset the apple cart there at 7-1, kicking off the late pick 4 on Sunday night.
Yeah, so Understandable was a previous show mentioned. Remember, we recapped that horse a few weeks ago, and I said, you got to give him another look. Well, I did not bet him. The more I watched the replay, I was like, he was so difficult to ride. And I think in that race, Jaime Gomez had a class dropper last week who didn't fire, and Ruben Lozano had a ton of horse. He won despite being, again, difficult to ride. So hopefully a few of the viewers were a little bit more persistent. I unfortunately did not stick by Understandable, who I think won at 8-1 last week.
I was 6. I went over page 7-1, and he won despite drifting out once again. This horse is gonna. Can you imagine how when he learns how to run straight and learns his job and goes 400 or 440, he's going to be a nice runner.
Yeah, he definitely showed that he still has room to improve. So that was a key horse to watch, and he came back to win. Hopefully, a few of the players stuck around and backed them. Let's talk about this week. We mentioned we have PCQHRA Breeders Derby trials on Saturday. 10 races. Macarona went to one of those trials. You're going to take us to the early pick 4 sequence and race number 2. And you like the looks of the 6 Cartel. Cartel looks hot.
Yeah, this is a horse that was a B worker prior to the debut, and the horse has been having a good amount of trouble pretty much in every one of his lifetime starts, except the race 2 back. We had a little bit of trouble, ran very, very well. We were running better than looked, and last time was up against Maximo, a horse who come out of that race and did come back to win last weekend versus our aforementioned run that we just talked about. But this horse did have a good amount of trouble in between horses, broke a little slow, was bumped back, and was crossed, but seemingly was loaded with run. He galloped out pretty well under a tight hold, so I'm going to give him one more chance. The Cartel looks hot there in this race number 2 for Jaime Gomez.
He finished 4th in that event. The runner-up was Maximo. Maximo ended up the winner of that last week that defeated your selection favorite Runaway. So Maximo was a very well-backed favorite in that win last week. But here's the replay from Cartel Looks Hot, July 29th, race number 2. He was also in gate number 2. Here it is. What did you see in this replay?
Yeah, he got a little fractious into the gate as per usual. Maximo was number 5 acting up right there. And the other horse was the 4 horse who also broke slow. But this horse broke a little slow, was bumped back behind horses, was kind of slow in his stride, and was crossed here and was in close quarters basically throughout. Took up a little right there in close quarters. Never has much room to run, but was seemingly finishing much better look under a hold and is much better than shown. He galloped out pretty well. So with everything factored in, my trouble numbers, my track numbers, I'm going to give this horse a look here because he earned a pretty solid figure with all that trouble factored in, only beating a length and a quarter.
That was what you call an uncomfortable trip pretty much every step of the way. He got bumped around. He was intimidated. He didn't have a path to run. A lot of things happened for him in that event.
Yeah, and he's up against a horse on the ship-in for Jose Flores, one that's probably the one he's going to have to worry about off a nice workout pattern coming in from Rio Dosa. The connections have done very, very good with the horses shipping enough workouts for Jose Flores and Johnny Trotter. But this horse, with the decent getaway, has got a big look at the outcome there at 5-2 in the program.
Yeah, Jose Flores and Mr. Johnny Trotter, they've been in a hot streak. Talk about a hot streak. I feel like they've won. If they shipped in 6, I think they won with 5 of them. It feels like that way, right?
They certainly have horses that have seemingly had trouble in many of their races. They come to Louis Al. They have a very nice workout, as this one did, a nice solo drill, and they just break and then they run to the ability. And this horse very well could be one of those right back. I'm going to go with the Louis Al local. Give him one more chance here for the connections, Jaime Gomez and company.
Yeah, Cartel looks hot. Gate number 6 and race number 2. That will be Chris's selection for Saturday night, part of the 10 race program from Los Alamitos. Talking about what's to come also, the daytime thoroughbred season is approaching here at Los Alamitos. That means also we'll be doing those double headers for the daytime and nighttime signals here at Los Al. And also, Chris, a lot of other signals are picking up as far as the quarter horse world, including Lone Star. Lone Star quarter horse season is beginning. Are you going to be tackling some of that analysis?
Yeah, so we're taking Lone Star Park on Saturday evening. We're taking races 3 through 10. You can see my selections on the website and in the back of the program here at Los Alamitos.
Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, Chris, let's see if we can get Cartel Looks Hot, a winner on Saturday night. And I'll see you this weekend at Los Al.
All right, bye. You have a good night.
The Los Alamitos traditional pick 6 continues to rise. On July 2nd, a carryover of nearly $15,000 led to a total pool of over $150,000. On July 9th, a carryover of $15,000 led to a total pool of nearly $160,000. Plus, with no jackpot provisions, the Los Alamitos pick 6 can pay big time every time. And if we don't have a carryover going into Sunday night, we'll add 10 grand to the pool. That's right, the fast-rising Los Alamitos pick 6 is one of the country's best. Los Alamitos celebrates its 10th year of daytime thoroughbred racing this September with an action-packed meet in beautiful Orange County. Opening day is Friday, September 15th. It's been an honor for us to have racing's biggest stars competing here over the past years. From the great 2-time Horse of the Year California Chrome to 7 other outstanding Eclipse Award winners, plus many other great stars. Our summer meet will include the E.B. Johnston Stakes on opening weekend, plus the Dark Mirage and our on-track handicapping contest on Saturday, September 23rd. It's our 10th year of daytime thoroughbred racing at Los Alamitos Racecourse.
Welcome back. Let's talk about a horse that I like on Saturday night. It will be in race number 4, the payoff leg of that early pick 4. And it is a horse that we previewed last time he made his debut. He was the lock of the night, and he got the job done. I'm talking about number 6, BF He's Outrageous. BF He's Outrageous ended up going off at 3-1 back on August 5th. He ended up making his debut and winning one. He stopped the clock in 15:61 for that 300 yards, and he looked good doing it. Let's take a look at that replay for BF He's Outrageous. He was the number 4 horse this night. He's going to break a bit slow here from gate number 4. The big favorite was in gate number 5, Apolitical Open MRL, quick out of the gate in gate number 5. But here's the 4, BF He's Outrageous. After that, a little bit of a sluggish beginning, he picked up the pace midway and finished strong. Visually impressive here, catching up the big favorite Apolitical Open and finishing with a final weight of 9.77. Good gallop at as well. Look how he's still finishing with good energy. And again, the favorite was the 1-2 favorite Apolitical in MRL. So I was encouraged by this debut win by BF He's Outrageous. We talked about the pedigree that was leading up to that event, and he really looked very sharp there, finishing with a clock in at 15:61, almost going into that 15:50s range. So I like how he looked. I like the way he finished. I'm hoping that he breaks a little bit sharper this time around because I think he's going to need it. But obviously, I think there's plenty of a ceiling for him, and I think there's plenty of room to improve. Now, the favorites or the horses to beat or the other alternates in this race, I do think it's the 4, HRH Royal Cartel, who's the 2-1 more favorite for Rancho El Cabresto and Juan Alaman. He comes out of the Ed Brook Millie Futurity, where he ended up finishing 4th in that event. It was a pretty solid 4th. He only missed third by about a nose at 18-1. So it was a very good effort. He had won his trial prior to that, but his trial win came from a favorable outside post in that May 28th effort. He was in gate 5 in the field of 8 in the final, and he didn't break it sharply. Ended up completing the superfecta. So hopefully, I'm hoping that if he's outrageous, able to outbreak him there from gate number 6 and keep up with him in the early stages. Now, Sweet Bet is the other contender that I think could be considered in this spot. He comes out of the Juvenile Challenge, 5th place finish, not much excuse in that effort. That was going 350. Maybe cutting back to 300 yards is a better fit for him because he's not the strongest of finishers. So he might prefer going a shorter distance. But I liked BFE's outrageous last time out, and I'm going to stick with him once again here for Kevin Burrell, Paul Jones, and Henry Lopez. He'll be my single, my lock of the night, coming up in Saturday night race number 4. We previewed one of those PCQHRA Derby trials with Mike Wrona, as he will like escalated in race number 8, who's drawn in gate 1. The first of those 4 trials will be in race number 7. Chick First Splash will be the even money favorite. He will be, without a doubt, will be tough to beat. Required first comes out of an awkward, kind of an awkward trip in the Governor's Cup Derby. He deserves another look. Quirky Bitty Jess had a favorable outside post last time out. She prevailed by a nose. Maybe she'll enjoy stretching back out. And then the other contender could be Shy Guy from the outside post for Adan Fares and Henry Lopez. Second trial, we talked about Escalated. We talked about the consistency and gate speed of Heat Chickless. Disruptor and Pragmatic are also in there. And of course, AJ Run for Cash from the outside post. The third of those trials, you can see Price Fixer, horse we've talked about it here on the show, just like One Sweet Duck. They both can break much better than the one they've shown. Well, at least Price Fixer, because One Sweet Duck did show good gate speed last time out. But Price Fixer has shown the ability to break better than what he's shown in the last 2 or 3 starts. Towards the outside, we'll see Remember Her. Well, I think it's a major contender here for Doc Allred and Scott Willoughby. I think that was a very game second place finish last time out, despite not having the best of trips. And then One Sweet Bar was confidently ridden when winning that allowance back on August 12th. The final trial of the night, I think, features the biggest standout favorite of those 4 trials, in my opinion. This will be a field of 7, and I do think Mahomes Magic is the standout favorite in these 4 trials. I think he draws well. He's 6-5 on the morning line. He's been fairly consistent. He has been a tough defeat after defeat in the last 3 runnings for him. I think he's drawn right. The distance should be no problem. I think he's the horse to beat and the most probable favorite on the entire card come Saturday night. So that will be a quick look at those trials for the PCQHRA Breeders Derby. And then Sunday night, we'll have the running of the PCQHRA Breeders Futurity Trial. So 2-year-olds will be on display Sunday night. That's going to wrap up the show here for me for this weekend. Thank you to Michael and Chris for joining us. And thank you to the viewers for sticking along and watching the show each and every week. And I hope to see you this weekend at Los Alamitos. And of course, we'll be talking daytime and nighttime doubleheaders next week here at Los Alamitos as the daytime Derby season circuit, moves down to Los Alamitos for a couple of weeks. Have a good rest of your Thursday afternoon. We'll hope to see you this weekend at Los Alamitos.